Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to Baby Code Free IELTS classes. I'm Tanu Vermani, an IDP certified trainer and a TOEFL to Solve certified trainer. So I'm back with my live session number 10, and the topic for today's session is what are the tips to score higher band for both writing task 1 and task 2. Now, the candidates who are new to watch this session, please go back to the remaining sessions, all those 9 sessions of the writing module, and then watch this session. Right now, we have already covered what is task 1 for general, what is task 1 for academic, and the task 2, which is same for both the candidates, whether it is academic or general. So we have covered all those two. Now let's talk about some of the tips so that you can improve your IELTS band score. Now I know that IELTS writing test is a challenging task for you. So to help you prepare, here are the 10 tips that can help you, or I would say assist you to develop your writing skills, and you can get closer to achieve your desired band scores, right? Now, what is tip number one? Tip number one says study the assessment criteria. Now, the best way to impress the examiner is to understand what they are looking for. Band descriptors for both writing task 1 and task 2 you can download from the website, right? These resources they talk about the skills and behavior that candidate need to have, and for each score also. When I was conducting my previous live sessions, there also I have talked about like what is the assessment criteria, what is the marking criteria. So discussed about all the four in a detailed manner. You can go back to those sessions, check those sessions, that what are the four marking parameters for the writing criteria. So very first is you should study that. You should know what examiner is looking for in your answer. Second is plan your time. Now you know that task 2 is worth twice task 1. So when it comes to calculate your final band score, you should keep this thing in mind that task 2 is double the weightage and it's of 40 minutes, whereas task 1 is for 20 minutes, right? So if you spend too much time on task 1, you may find yourself that you will not able to finish your task 2. So in that way, you will have a lower score. So better to practice well for task 2 as well. Tip number 3, read the task outline twice. Now it's very important, it's a crucial thing that you should understand the task that you're completing. IELTS examiner will give higher scores if you fully address the task. Band 7 says that yes, you have address. Band 8 says you have fully address. Band 6 says that you have address. So there are different band descriptors. You will see that different bands are having different requirements. So if you fully address all parts of the task and you have a well developed answers on the topic, only then you can have higher scores. Highlight or write down different elements of the task scenario or question and make sure you answer all of them. If your question demands you to write answer for three topics, three elements are there, you have to answer for three. If you answer only two elements and you skipped out on the third part, you will never get higher bands, you will always get the lower band, right? Fourth tip is draft your response. Now spend some time planning your answer so that you can help achieve higher scores for the coherence and cohesion assessment criteria, right? Examiners, they look for evidence that you can organize your ideas logically. You aim to cover one topic in each paragraph, read your essay or a letter to make sure that your ideas are flow together. So always plan out. For every essay, at least have 2 points to each key topic points. One should be in the one body paragraph with an evidence or a supporting points, example also. And the same is the case for second body paragraph. Tip number 5, show off your vocabulary. Now, vocabulary is a criteria, lexical resources. So, examiner look for evidence that you can use a wide range of vocabulary correctly. You can improve your vocabulary by reading from different English sources. Start using these sources, start reading from them. It can be a magazine, newspapers, or blogs. Look for any words that you don't know, practice them also once you start practicing your test. If you find yourself using the same words over and over, think about any other words, think about synonyms. replacement for that word, right? So try to have your vocabulary. Okay. Next is use a mix of sentence structure. Aim to use both complex and simple sentence structure in your writing task answer. Even if you are comfortable using complex and sentence structure, make sure these are broken up by some short, simple sentences. Do not overuse any complex sentence. Sometimes students, what they do, they try to use the complex sentences in a over way. So it actually create a very, I would say, a bad, like lacking a grace. It looks like a clinky. A clinking means something which is not good with the posture, which is not good with the grace, right? So it's somewhere like ill chosen words you are using and awkward you are making your writing answer. So do not use them in a complex way. Overuse you can't, but yes, make a mix of simple and complex. Perfect your punctuation. Now use the correct punctuation in a right place is extremely important. If you do not know how to use it, if you are not sure of what certain punctuation symbol means, keep things simple. Do not use them. Avoid it. Okay. The correct punctuation can help your test answers flow in a way that showcase your English fluency, your English ability. Tip number 8, known when to use formal language. Now, formal language uses a professional or an academic tone that you might use while at work or university. So, we generally have a formal language when we work, when we are at work, or when we are at a study level, right? Informal language is a more casual tone which you might use when speaking to your friends. If the task you're working on that requires formal language, you should avoid using. Now, when talking to a friends or a family, you use informal language. But if your task is a formal language, you should not use slang, flushes, or contraction. These are all used for informal language. So if you're taking the writing test, task one or task two, it must be answered in a formal language, right? And the same for the case for general candidates also, formal language for the writing task. But yes, when it comes to letter writing, there is formal also and informal letter also. So keep this thing in mind. Next is some practice test. Now you can start practicing from the baby code application because sometimes you need somebody to practice with. So make a use of practice test from the baby code application. Look for the sample answers also. There are lots of study material and I'm also going to I'm also conducting the live sessions, the master classes. So do attend that. Any kind of queries you can let me know. I'm going to help you out. Next is get a study partner. Now, if you have any study partner, a friend of yours who is also preparing, you can share your thoughts and ideas. You can share your feedback also. Start practicing for them. But if you do not have any study partner, then you can use our feedback, your RBB code application, which provides you complete scoring for the speaking also, and very soon coming with the next feature also. And for writing answers, you can see that there are writing answers for band 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9 sample answer. So you can try our free writing live sessions, which I'm just conducting right now. Detailed action plan is there that 10 days you can have complete writing here. Okay. Now let's look at some additional important steps so that you can boost your score. You can have your scores at a higher. Now, how to? First step is understand the task requirements before you start. Very crucial step is that you should understand what is expected of you, what examiner wants from you to write here. Familiarize yourself with the task description, include the type of visual information you may encounter, look for the specific details you need to focus on. Now take a note of word limit also. Take like what is the time allocated for this task, right? Analyze the visual information carefully. Examine the given information, whether it's a graph or a chart or a table. It's a diagram. Identify the trends, the pattern. What are the key features? Pay attention to the axis, x-axis or the y-axis, whether it's a line graph or a bar graph. units of measurement, labels, any kind of significant changes. Make a comparison between visual information. You have to look for the all highlights, right? Because you are supposed to write them in the overview. Next is create a clear and a organized plan for your response. Most importantly, create the structure of your answer. Whether it's report writing, whether it's letter writing, or it's an essay, you have to create a structure. Now, include an introduction when it comes to report writing, make an overview and the supporting paragraphs also. Decide on the key points you want to include and make them in a logical way. Do not leave any key point. If you leave any key point, you will not score higher bands. So, this planning phase will save your time and ensure that your structure is a coherent essay, right? So make sure you organize a clear picture of your response. Step number 4, begin your essay with concise and engaging introduction. Introduction is the most important part when it comes to report or letter, whichever topic it is, whichever task it is, you have to provide it. Then provide an overview of the visual information, talk about its source, the date it was published, any kind of brief statement summarizing the trends or the features. Now you can hook the reader's attention and set the tone of your essay. It has to be formal essay, right? Now, fifth step is present an overview in a separate paragraph. Now, you will be writing the overview in the second paragraph, talking about the key trends, the patterns observed in the visual information. Summarize the main points without going into excessive detail. This overview acts as a roadmap for the reader. They gives the clear understanding of the main information contained in the visual. You do not write any kind of data, any kind of figures, any percentages in the overview, but you just act as a roadmap, right? You talk about the trends and the patterns for the whole complete visual information. Step number 6, support with specific details in the subsequent paragraph. Now provide specific details, support evidence to illustrate and analyze the trends. Focus features mentioned in the overview. Make a combination of accurate data, percentages, comparisons, specific example so that you can enhance the clarity and depth of your answer. Be mindful using appropriate vocabulary related to the data. Vocabulary session is already there. I guess I have conducted third or fourth session which was on vocabulary for writing task 1. So start using that vocabulary and make sure that you are making a coherence between all of your 4 paragraphs. Next is use language devices and cohesive elements. Now you should increase or enhance the overall quality of your writing. Make and incorporate use of language devices and talk about appropriate verbs, tenses, adjectives, adverbs, that are you using them accurately or not. Describe them, analyze your visual information, use additional cohesive devices, transitional words, also phrases, and make a smooth flow and logical progression between sentences and paragraphs. Last step is that you have to proofread and revise. After finishing your task, it's very important that you dedicate some time to read it and revise it again. Thoroughly examine it if there is any grammatical error, spelling error, or punctuation mistakes. Strive to ensure that your sentences are both clear and concise. Pay attention to the coherence and cohesion of your ideas. Make any necessary adjustment so that you can improve the quality of your response, right? So please read it and revise it correctly. In short, what you can do is you can start practicing from the baby code application, because there are lots of sample answers for your task 1 and task 2. You can see that academic task 1, all the 7 combinations are there. All the 7 tasks of your writing, report writing, are already been there. So start practicing for that. You can watch a live session anytime on baby code application or on the YouTube channel. Do the star rating, provide your comments so that I can know that yes, you people are practicing from this. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this live session. I'm going to come up with a new session very soon. So stay tuned. Bye bye.